Hello. Today I'm going to read out the second to last chapter of my book, Philosophizer's Bible, and the chapter is called Salvation. Now this may bring to mind thoughts of a religious nature, and it's intended to, but actually my notion of salvation is at a very oblique angle to the salvation that you find in the various religions. And although it's true that Christianity emphasizes it more than, say, Judaism or Islam, nevertheless the basic core idea is the same: salvation through righteousness, through bending the knee, through recognizing a power greater than yourself. And I reject all that. For me, salvation consists in recognizing the utter impossibility of explaining why I am here. It's as simple as that. I call it the question. Nothing in heaven or earth can explain why I am here. In an earlier chapter, I talked about how a young man exiled from Czechoslovakia, who had a young wife and his life ahead of him, died in a stupid and pointless accident with a hand grenade. And that accident, that stupid, pointless accident, had to happen in order for me to be here. But it was only a necessary condition. It was only one of the many, many things that had to happen. But even if everything that had to happen happened in just the way it did, it wouldn't result in me being here. It would only result in someone exactly like me being here. The fact of identity, the absolutely unique fact of identity, which belongs to every human being, every person who is capable of self-consciousness, that fact is totally inexplicable. And Western philosophy, analytic philosophy, is totally at a loss to explain it. And generally the position taken is, it's not real, it's an illusion, it doesn't exist. In Eastern philosophy you have the Atman, but even there, all sorts of explanations, all sorts of attempts are made to explain why the appearance of the Atman, this unique sense of I-ness, doesn't exhaust its reality, that really you are something else, I am something else. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I am if I am not me. But so far as I'm concerned, there is only a question, that question. Okay, so why talk of salvation? For the same reason that other religions talk about it. The realization of one's imperfection. All the ways in which you fall short of some ideal. And I have said repeatedly that I am perfect in every way, but what I meant by that was everything that has happened, every decision I've made, good or bad, was necessary in order that I should be here now, today, at this moment in time, doing what I am doing now. That's perfection. Everything was necessary. Even the stupidest mistakes were necessary. Anyway, let's see how I make the case out in the chapter and see if you agree with me. Salvation. Eschatology. That's the word that theologians use and philosophers. I have said 1,000 times that I am against religion, all religion, and yet you will say that my every action shows how I desperately want to be saved. Yes, I agree with you. Do you think I was going to argue the point? One can't deny the obvious. But the thing is, I have to save myself. There is no one who can help me, nothing that can save me, except what I can bring about by my own efforts. I am alone, but so are you. with respect to the question, each and every human being who has ever lived on this planet is completely alone. At least I have my sanity. One doesn't measure sanity simply by comparing a human being with other human beings. Henry David Thoreau said that. Quote, this is a famous quote, "If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away." That's from Walden. They're all out of step, but our Willie. That may not be true on the army parade ground, but when it comes to philosophy, that is entirely possible. That's actually something quoted by Michael Dummett in his book on Frege. The idea that most people use the rules of language incorrectly is absurd, because it's like saying that the one guy who's out of step with everyone else is actually the one in step. As I said, in philosophy, it can be very much the case that the one person is right and everyone else is wrong. I am functioning well. I am comfortable in my skin. I have my pleasant enjoyments and my recreations. I have arranged my life to cause the least possible friction with my writing and my philosophizing. That is what I am here to do, after all. My heavenly audience, I can't quite believe in it, not for one moment. And how terrible it would be if it were true. Not so much Truman Show as a combination of the Truman Show and Zoo Time, with a super-intelligent alien Desmond Morris or Richard Dawkins providing the condescending commentary. This is beyond sadism. To put a conscious being in a situation, a predicament that they have no chance to figure out for themselves, no chance whatsoever. Events of my life laid out like postage stamps. That's a quote from Hadot Philosopher. Don't even try to say what it all adds up to. It's an impossible sum, an insoluble paradox, and yet I accept it as a fact. Whatever happened, happened, and I can't make it unhappen. Though, thankfully, forgetfulness erases some of the worst bits. I have been broken, crippled, ruined, by random chance or the deliberate spiteful actions of others, or by my own colossal misjudgments. I cannot undo what I have done or what others have done to me, but I accept absolutely that every event in my life is for a reason that I should become the person that I am. I am here at one task, here for one task, and one task alone. I can succeed or fail in that task. Perhaps I will never know either way. Saruman in Lord of the Rings. Do you know how the orcs first came into being? I am a sinner. Yes, I confess. What are my sins? That's not so clear. Didn't I say I am perfect in every way? Was that meant to be irony? Please. There are perfect orcs, too. As in the movie, the make-up department's pièce de résistance, grotesque, vile, the negation of every feature of the human body that we find beautiful. And that, my friend, is a perfect picture of your soul. Are you beginning to see how dangerous you are? You're not interested in some pathetic substitute for religion. The poncey notion of living as a philosopher, Pierre Hadot, Philosophy as a Way of Life, makes you vomit. You see through it all. All you want, all you've ever wanted, is to be motivated. Being motivated to do anything, regardless of the consequences, regardless of how evil others view your actions, is better than not being motivated at all. The motivations of the serial killer are not that hard to figure out. There's the effort, sometimes very resourceful and creative effort, and the reward. Of course you have to have a very twisted mind for that reward to motivate you. Motivation is a gift, even when it's a curse. Charles Manson has never bothered himself with the question of the meaning of life. He knows exactly what he is here to do. Or consider one of my great heroes, the American writer Henry Miller in Quiet Days in Clichy. Warning, I'm about to use the C word. The original movie, based on Miller's short novel, is a minor classic of 70s continental cinema. All Miller wants is C-U-N-T. He will do anything for C-U-N-T. He will even starve for it if it comes down to a choice between spending his last few francs on food or a prostitute. That's heroism of the first order. Miller wonders at this thing, his sexuality, that has such a powerful capacity to move. And he is in there, not ironically detached. But what a writer knows, always, is that no matter how you spend your days or nights, writing is the thing. It is what you do. Writing justifies everything. Nothing can come between you and your typewriter, not even a C-U-N-T. No harm, though, in postponing the pleasure of tapping those keys if a more intense and urgent pleasure awaits. Rachel, you would have understood this. You wrote of a book we were trying to promote, Nick Acacella's The Divine Inspiration of Porn and the Beginning of Sexual Metaphysics. Quote, "The argument that there would be no porn without God is probably regarded as too outrageous." There are sentences that will grip you so much that you have to read them out to someone, anyone near, to share appreciation. You only do this if you love literature and find something great. Unquote. A writer of Miller's calibre, I am not. I am not and never will be in that league. For me, putting down these words is merely a means to an end. I am a means to an end. I can never be whole. But that doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters, ultimately, is the question. So long as I am in pursuit of the question, and never flag, so long as I never give in to self-doubt, never let go, I am saved. Well, there's some pretty huge jumps in that chapter. You'll probably want to watch this video again to make sense of it. But yes, there is the viewpoint on one's life as a mixed bag of partial successes, disappointments, stupid mistakes, bad things that happen generally, and all the things that make a person think, oh, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that, I wish this hadn't happened, and so on. That's a viewpoint you can take, but you can also take the viewpoint that I've recommended. That everything, absolutely everything that has happened, down to the tiniest detail, was necessary. And when you take that viewpoint, when you look at it that way, you don't wish that things had been different. You accept things as they are. And your focus is on the present, is on what to do now. And that's why I talk about motivation. I'm not saying that that's a solution to the problem of the meaning of life. Like, if there's absolutely nothing that motivates you, go out and do some serial killing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that the question doesn't arise for someone who is motivated. But if the question does arise, then you have to start thinking about what really moves you. You have to make contact with that, whatever it is, that thing inside you that moves you. And for me, as I said, there's only one possible thing that has the sufficient power to move, and that is the awareness of the question. The awareness of the complete and absolute and utter absurdity of the fact that there is I in the world. Nothing can explain why I am here, and yet here I am. I am a perpetual miracle. Again, I'm not talking about a God or anything like that. I'm talking about the ultimately inexplicable. and I can do anything. It is my choice. In the final chapter, I'm going to enlarge on that idea and explain what it means to live in the present and focus all your energies on the present. Until then, bye.